Yes, ladies and gentlemen, children all around the world, once again, put on your Pistons hats and join us for another live stream of East meets West, another Detroit Pistons edition. There's going to be plenty of these. Well, today we have actual news. It seems like every time we schedule, we get news.
Right. I was literally just thinking maybe like we should schedule these more often, and maybe there's going to be like some crazy, signings, trades happening.
Laurie Marketing.
Yeah, just not to the Pistons, my friend. I'm sorry.
Nah. We'll get around.
But I do think. Well, we'll see. We'll get into that. But yeah. So,
but the Pistons today have signed Paul Reed to a 3-year, I believe. What was it? 24 or was it 27? Was it $9 million a year? He's 3 years. He's got a 3-year deal. So
no. So actually, the Pistons, they claimed Paul Reed off of waivers.
Yeah.
Right. So he signed a 3-year, $24 million deal with Philadelphia. So he had just finished the first year. So you guys basically have 2 years, $16 million left on his deal.
Oh, see, I didn't even know.
No, actually, and it's good that we point that out because I think
we didn't clear waivers. Duh.
Correct. Correct. And I think that's actually important to note because, no shade at the Pistons, but I think, when we ended last episode, we kind of said if he does clear waivers, then he has the freedom to basically choose where he wants to go. Not that he's now held captive in Detroit. But what I'm saying is, now other teams, if they also have some financial flexibility, they can,
make a move,
kind of match or be like a little bit more competitive in pursuing him than the Pistons just outright claiming him. And given that you had more than enough cap space, there you go. There you go.
Okay.
From a transactional standpoint or a cap standpoint, it's actually really fascinating because I'm starting to see like a lot of reactions already. And we'll get into Paul Reed, his skill set, his fit with the Pistons.
Yeah.
But one of the first questions people are saying, like, okay, if he'd cleared waivers, you could still pay him more than the minimum, right?
Yeah.
But so is he really worth $8 million? I mean, we'll get into that. But here's the beauty of his contract.
I've seen that a couple times.
Yeah. The beauty of his contract is his salary this year is completely non-guaranteed. Same with next year. So you could go to training camp with him. You're saying, this ain't working out, or say throughout the summer, a big trade does happen and you want that $8 million in cap space back. You could waive him. That's it. No big deal.
Nice. Okay.
Right? Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, again, in keeping with
shout out to Trajan.
Exactly. In keeping with the theme of Trajan Landon's moves this summer, right? Improving the team, definitely improving the team, increasing the talent, the base, the talent base,
right,
and maintaining financial flexibility. I mean, again, it's just another move. Like, I don't think I can't see how you'd say this is a bad move. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not bound. It's never going to get to the point where it's some albatross contract. So there we go.
There we go. Hey, shout out to Trajan Langdon because Troy Weaver never did nothing like this. We were always paying people, even after we waived them and released them. We were overpaying people. So, yeah. And then I sent you the picture of the roster, last year's roster, didn't I?
Yeah.
I sent that to you, the 31 players, 31 player list. Yeah. So, yeah, we won't have that trash no more. So, yeah, shout out to him. I'm glad he's here. You know what I mean? Like, and I said before that having him would lure other free agent possibles to come to the Pistons just because of him. You know what I mean? So I'm actually happy about that. And then everybody's saying we had 2 more spots left, if I'm not mistaken. So I guess we'll also get into who else, could go to the Pistons, Gary Trent or whoever. So yeah. And with that said, we got Cade, the official extension, ladies and gentlemen, the official. So what you take from that? Because you got the numbers for that. You said the elevator deal.
Yeah. So last time, again, when it was initially reported, it was just reported as 5-year 226. Right. And remember I was saying it's it's kind of weird. Like his draft peers, they have the potential escalators where, if they're an MVP or a DPOY or an all NBA, right? It can go from 226 to 270, 269 plus, right? 270. Initially, when it was reported, Cade didn't have that in his contractual language. So it's It's kind of weird, but sure enough, he does, which again is more than fine.
Right.
Again, we want Cade, right? First of all, it's not our money, right? It's Tom Gore's money.
Well, yeah. At the end of the day.
But we want, right? Ideally, we want Cade to be playing so well that he is an all NBA player, that he is in, who knows, MVP discussions, right? But at least moving forward, given the way the contracts so far, everything that's on the books, nothing going past next season, they still have the ability to create another max cap space next season
because of the THJ deal, because of the Paul Reed deal.
Correct.
Just those two alone, right? And probably
just those two alone, right?
Yeah.
I mean, other guys too. But what I'm saying is, Cade's extension is not prohibitive in any way, right?
No.
So I mean, if this season goes, well, okay, it has to go better than last season,
yeah,
right? But if this season goes as well as we think it could potentially go, other free agents are now saying like, yeah, you know what, like they got something great building over in Detroit.
Right.
Again, right? At the very least, you are not like handcuffed where you cannot be even offering those types of deals to top tier free agents. So again, for that matter, some good bookkeeping, good cap management.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So that's a good thing going forward. And that means everybody that's trying to make a splash for a big time player, like we were talking about Brandon Ingram, maybe we should just wait even longer. You know what I mean? Because it's a better draft class on the way. I'm sure free agency will be better than this one was, because this one was, you know what I mean? Especially once most of the players got scooped up by their own teams, they stayed home. So
right.
It was a few names floating around, and some people that's still available now, but they're not like super needle movers. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, I think it's best to, like, everybody just wants to spend all the money, just fill all the spots, but it's like, just give it a little minute, because you also never know what's going to happen with this team. Like, somebody's going to emerge this season alongside Cade. You know what I mean? And we got to give that a shot instead of letting them go like Spencer Dinwiddie going to the Nets or something like that, or Chris Middleton leaving the Pistons. Like, we've had players and then they flourished after they left. Let's kind of just take the patient route and let them develop here with us. And, just getting back to the Paul Reed signing, like, he has some of everything. You know what I mean? Like, he's a rim runner. He can finish well. That shot is a little ugly though.
but to be fair,
we have Fred Vincent.
When it goes in, it goes in all the time, right?
Yeah. And then I've seen he shot under 1-3 a game at, like, what was it, 36 or 38% that I was looking at Basketball Reference.
Right.
And I'm just like, well, you're only shooting like 1-3 every so often, you know what I mean?
Right. Right.
But I like what I've seen from him. He's good at putting it. He's actually he's kind of like, I don't want to just stamp him with the Derek Lively kind of stamp, Daniel Gafford, but that's kind of along the lines that I see him in. You know what I mean? Like, you can throw the ball up to him, because he's a alley-ooper for sure. Like, you could throw it up to him. He's pretty good playing from the dunker spot and all of that. So
yes,
I mean, if he does what he does and he does it in the same amount of minutes, because he only averaged around 20 minutes. And I mean, hell, I can see him really fitting in here. Like, because we got rid of Wiseman, he was getting significant minutes, and he was just iffy. You know what I mean? But getting Paul Reed, he gets offensive rebounds, he gets loose balls, the 50-50 balls, and he makes stuff happen. You know what I mean? He often operates around the elbows when there's stuff going on, like under the rim, and you could just kick it to him and he'll create something from there too. So I like what I've seen from Paul Reed over the last few years, and I gotta shout out to Chalk. She loves Philly, so I've been keeping an eye on Philly. Plus, I love Embiid and Maxey and what they got going on over there. So I've seen them, you know what I mean, but I didn't think too like high or low of them. But I like the deal, considering we needed another big man. And he's undersized, but that's where we could slide Stewart down to the center, like a lot of people were saying.
Yes. I mean, I think we kind of started going into a little bit last episode when we were just kind of like, going down the list of potential free agents. And again, I'm glad that he didn't get to become a free agent, right? I'm glad you guys scooped him up. I have my terms for like player archetypes, right? Yeah. And I was saying like last time, he's not to me a small ball 5. He's a speed 5, right? Mm-hmm. And again, that's what we're talking about, right? If we're trying to actually be able to play different styles, based on matchups, he's the perfect guy, right, to play up tempo. Not that Duran and Beef Stew can't, but I mean, if you really do a little bit more like film study on him, I mean, you don't want him like pounding the rock, but he is capable of putting the ball on the floor. Like he is like legitimately, right? Like if there's like a naked handoff or something like that, right? He has no problem just like turning the corner, right? And like, taking like 2-3 dribbles, right? And like just going up with power. Right. What I do like about him, and again, I understand why Philly had to move on from him. One, his cap space ended up becoming Caleb Martin. Okay. They prioritize wing players. I understand that. Right. But in terms of like this whole B-ball Paul versus, Drummond, again, I think it was more like at least for me, from the outside looking at Philly's situation, it's like a roster construction problem. Right. Embiid goes down. First of all, if Embiid goes down, there's no way you can replace him. No. Okay. But if your entire defense is built on having like an actual low drop rim protector, and now Paul Reed is the only big man behind him, well, of course it's not going to work. Yeah. Right. Yeah. He doesn't have to like be like tasked. Right. He doesn't have to have like that sole responsibility if one of Duren or Stewart goes down. Right. And unlike James Wiseman, Paul Reed can play alongside either. Right. Like either Stewart or either Duren. Yeah. That's something your past bigs have not been able to offer. Yeah.
Much more of a lob threat.
Yeah. I could totally understand if Pistons fans still want, like more size, like another center, like a 7-footer with a little bit more, but I mean,
we got Clintman.
He's more of a power forward. I mean, I could see him definitely at some point, like even this summer league, I bet you he'll be playing the 5. Yeah. And we'll go into why, because, this summer league roster is kind of interesting.
Weird. Considering the last few seasons, we had damn near our entire roster that was going into the season on it. So it's kind of, it looks boring on paper. You know what I mean?
It is. Well, it is and it isn't. We'll get into that. But I mean, for Paul Reed, I don't see, again, I just don't see any downside to it. Yeah. If he had ended up clearing waivers, I still look at that list. He and Precious Achiuwa would still be the top 2 remaining centers available.
And Precious is actually who I wanted. Not to
I like Precious Achiuwa too.
Yeah.
Right? But that's my point, right? Supply and demand, everyone who needs a big, like New York, right? And they can only offer the minimum. Yeah. F it. I don't even want him to have to decide between taking the minimum with New York or
right.
Because again, if something way better presents itself later in the summer, you can, right? Yeah. So I mean, I think again, it's a good move. And this is what I was saying, like, you want to win games, you don't want to win the offseason.
Yeah.
But
we're tired of winning the offseason.
Right?
Yeah.
Even the guys that have been salary dumps, they can legitimately help the Pistons. And that's not a knock on like, saying, oh, okay, the Pistons sucked last year. No, it's like, dude, these guys actually bring a skill that we were looking for. Right. Because other teams that are absorbing these salary dumps, what happens? They just waive these guys immediately. Yeah. They have no use for them. Right. I mean, this is, again, it's great.
We were guilty of that during the season.
Yes.
We would trade for everybody in their mind.
Which is fine. Hey, right? But hey, like I said, I mean, which is why like I hear like some people kind of, I get it. Right now the Pistons have a reputation of you're like an NBA wasteland. You're like purgatory or something,
With 3 go balls.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We
But
got three
unfortunately,
of them things.
unfortunately, 2 decades have passed, right? That the luster is, I know. But what I'm saying is it's the irony how hypocritical people can be. Like if everyone said that Trajan Landon was a great executive, are you saying now he's no longer a great executive just because he joined the Pistons? Right. I mean, should he not? There should be some optimism, right? I mean, hey, we'll see. But I mean, yeah, I think it's good. It's a good move. And but what do you think? Like, do you think they still need to? I mean, maybe jumping ahead here, but I mean, do you think they need to still pursue another big? Would you want them to pursue another big?
No, because like I said a few minutes ago, like I'm big on allowing the youth that we have to continue to develop. We haven't had all of the development that we want from Duran. We're still letting Stewart grow. We're still figuring out Cade and Ivy playing together. We haven't let Arsar turn into what he's going to turn into. You know what I mean? So continuing to just bring in pieces, especially if it's a piece that dominates the time, the minutes on the floor, then that's going to hurt the overall product because they won't get a chance to truly establish themselves. We're going to turn them into immediate role players, basically, just where they serve just one purpose. We just need you to come in and shoot threes, or that's what Tim Hardaway might kind of be for somewhat. You know what I mean? And certain other pickups that we have, they serve as something. Even the Paul Reed signing to me, him playing 20 minutes for Philly, him not starting games until Embiid went down. And him just playing those minutes, that's just to fill in the gaps. You know what I mean? He can do the same thing here. Not saying Duran is Embiid or nothing like that, but hell, he might be able to get a few more minutes because of it. You know what I mean? And then, we still got to figure out what's going to happen with Isaiah Stewart. Are we going to play him as a 4 or as a 5? Or, people been killing me for it. Detroit fans, if y'all want to shoot me, go ahead. Just airshot me.
I am killing you for it. Go ahead, say it again.
Say it again. I've been saying it since the beginning, and it's because I seen some summer tape. I seen the dude do what he do, and he can kind of be like a 3-and-D. You know what I mean? He could be 3-and-D. He can. Man, if Michael Kidd-Gilchrist was on a damn roster, talking about some.
Well, that's what we talked about. We talked about
Stewart's 3-point percentage been going up though. It's been going up. So, and he can guard certain threes. You know what I mean? I wouldn't mind putting him on LeBron, even though LeBron doesn't even play the 3 anymore. So, okay, now that I'm saying that, I see what you're saying. But I mean, if you're trying to scare tactic somebody, hell, Ron Artest was a 3. I wouldn't
Ron Artest was a 3
him in there a little bit
in his youth. He's a legitimate 3.
Yeah. But yeah, I want to see their progression. So don't overload that spot, because if we sign who else is available? I know everybody talking about Kessler. So theoretically, let's say we trade for Kessler. Oh, boom! Detroit sent a first round pick away. Oh, they got Kessler. All of a sudden, wouldn't you feel like it's a logjam? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So there's no point in bringing in another big, in my opinion. Maybe a Paul Reedish type, like a tweener. Somebody that can kind of play some minutes at the 3, but who's out there that? I mean, I need to look at who's
at this point. I would need to look at the list of available free agents and see who's eligible for a 2-way contract. You see what I'm saying? I'm serious. Because it's 4 years of NBA service or less.
Right.
So I mean, if you could get a guy who's been in the league for 3 years, he's eligible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You at least you have that option. But
I just see Precious. Jay Crowder.
I mean, he's not a center. I mean, what I'm saying.
Just he can play 3 and 4. You know what I mean? One of them goes down.
I mean, again, we still have to remember. I know that we want to win, and we want to win, you be competitive night in, night out, and win substantially.
Right.
But as you said, the guys who are supposed to be the core of this team are young. They are the guys that need development.
Right.
I just remind that because if Pistons fans, if you haven't already seen it, go on Twitter. Go on Team USA's Twitter. You know what I'm saying?
Duran.
Look, every other highlight is Jalen Duran.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Of course they don't want to say, the future of Team USA sucks. No, but I mean, I think the league is starting to recognize what he's truly capable of. You know?
Yeah.
I know we have high expectations of him, but to me, he's trending in that direction. Like to me, it seems more likely he's going to reach that potential as opposed to fall short. And instead, as much as I do like Walker Kessler, no, man, like at that point, you're just kind of like cannibalizing each other's like development. You know?
Yeah. Understood. Yeah. So, and I just feel like in a minute, everybody, I mean, hell, they already trying to get Duran off of us. They trying to fleece him off of us. So we need to make sure we keep enough cap space in the future for him over the next year or so. You know what I mean? So we can extend him immediately, because everybody wants him to turn into whatever he's going to turn into, like right now. They wanted it right now. Like, oh, he's not playing good enough on defense. He's not, you know, which is why, you know, for those that don't know, like I run the Pistons Lead account, and yeah, I asked y'all, like, what do y'all want from Jalen Duran? And a lot of people pick David Robinson's defense. You know what I mean? So I just feel like they don't think that he's defensive enough yet. You know what I mean? So, and I mean, in certain spots, that's true, but we haven't given him enough time to really develop and figure out his like real spot on the floor. Like when they come up with a real scheme, and it's just not Monty Williams. Like I've been saying on the last couple pods we had, last year is a wash. You know what I mean? It's just like, let's go play. Yeah. They was like, here, street ball, throw the ball out there and just go ahead, go guys. Oh yeah, I'm gonna sub the whole bench in too in like 3 minutes here. So don't mess up. Yeah. So if we did go about adding one more player, because I got a list right here. I mean, who would you think we would need? I think we're kind of loaded at every position. I mean, what? Maybe a backup point guard? Maybe. But I mean, think so. We got Sasser. But I mean, a legit point guard, I guess so. So I mean, Tyus Jones. I mean, I think that's not only because the reports are saying that the Wizards are trying to accommodate him, right, by, you know, helping facilitate a sign and trade to get him the money he's looking for and to get him in a position, you know, a team that he wants to go to. But like in general, I would say yes. Okay. I think he would fit, like playing alongside Cade, Ivy. Like he could play alongside anyone in your backcourt rotation. What I'm saying though is he cool being a backup? Right, like because last I read, it seems like he still wants an opportunity to start. You know, I mean, like other than spot starts, right? If you're giving Cade a night off, or you know, you want to go like a smaller lineup, like I don't see him really having a path to a starting role. So that's what I'm saying. But I mean, like, hey, you know, if he agrees to it, then yes, I think he's the best candidate. I do like Markelle Fultz. I think Orlando didn't re-sign him. They didn't give him the money yet. Nope. No, they had to renounce his bird rights and everything in order to you know, finish the KCP deal and re-sign Mo Wagner. So in all likelihood, I mean, unless he's taking like the minimum with them, he's not going back there. And that's what I'm saying. At this point, for some reason, like the point guard market is still kind of some decent candidates, you know. And again, if they are down to be a backup, then hell yeah, man. I would say those are my two picks for you guys. And again, Markelle Fultz, Kyle Lowry. I think I think we already have enough former Sixers, right? We got Tobias. We don't need any more veteran Sixers. Actually, you know, I just kind of thought I think it is kind of, you know, maybe I'm reading into this. It is kind of cool though, right? That Tobias and Paul Reed both come directly from Philly. You know, like there's some rapport there. They played, you know, in terms of trying to like just again build chemistry amongst, you know, the team. It's kind of nice to have that, you know. Yeah. But I mean, like I said, I'm just looking at this list. If they make some, and I'm not saying like for like a big superstar trade, but if the Pistons end up making some kind of trade where you're making a significant upgrade at certain spots, then obviously certain players are going to be gone, right? And then that'll dictate what positions maybe you need to target of the remaining free agents. And that's That's the sense people got from the Paul Reed deal, that we might be moving Isaiah Stewart for some odd reason.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if they do, yes, I could imagine he would. Yes, he'd likely be one of the candidates on the move if you did make a bigger trade. But I'm not sure about that yet.
We better be getting something back that's equivalent.
Yeah.
If it's not Lauri Markkanen, it better be a dog. I know that much.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think we even have enough people? Okay, so let me go to fantasy land. Is it too early to do that?
Actually, you know what? Let's just do this first then. Instead of talking about the summer league, let's talk about where can they go? What directions can the Pistons go with the moves that they can make? Okay.
Can we? Well, I might as well not even bring up Lauri Markkanen because people said we don't have 3 first-round picks anyway, and then I wouldn't want to give up next year's pick because Cooper's out there.
I was just about to say too.
Yeah.
Pistons fans, right? We should have every reason to want this team to be competitive. Like these guys are supposed to be the stars, right? Yeah. Let's just let them get there. However, damn, this is the season to be tanking. You know what I'm saying? If there was a season,
and I don't want to tank. I'm tired of tanking.
Exactly. So let's not even. I'm just saying, like that's why I think you and I were talking about like, can the Pistons, even if they said like they won like 38 games, just hypothetically, could they actually make the play-in? Yes. Look how many teams are actively trying not to win, right? Yeah. The Nets have no intention. The Bulls have no intention of winning,
they're going to win some, though.
They'll win their fair share.
Yeah.
But they want to, lose enough to stay in the bottom 3, to have a shot at Cooper Flag and everything like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, between that and the Pistons actually trying to win, sure, But okay, go ahead. So you're talking about Lowry?
Yeah, but I'm gonna move on from him. Let's get to the point guard side of it. What do you think about? And I know they about to kill me for it. I know they're gonna listen and be like, "Oh, he's dumb. Turn this off." What? D'Angelo Russell is on an expiring deal. That's the only reason I would want him. You know what I mean? And even though I like D'Angelo Russell, he's not Brooklyn D'Angelo, but you know what I mean? Like I would rock with D'Lo for real. Like off the bench, yeah, he been already playing that role for the Lakers before they kept shifting him in and out. We know what he's capable of when you give him the green light. He's a good passer. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, what is his contract? What did he pick up? He picked up his option
for about 18 million, a little 18 plus maybe.
18 mil. So I mean, we got the cap, you know what I mean? And if we send something back, even better. You know what I mean? Because the Lakers, I'm sure they won't just take a few second-round picks for him. Like, they want something back in return because they've got nothing. So, I know it's pretty unrealistic, but that's just a point guard idea, kind of like an option. Just
then along the lines of players of his caliber, right? Mm-hmm. So, it doesn't even have to be D'Lo. Just other players kind of in his situation.
Yeah.
Let me answer your question with a question.
Uh-oh.
Would you actually be serious about re-signing him?
No.
Then there's no point. The only point is to trade for him so that you have his bird rights. But if this is just going to be a one-year deal, why would you give up assets for him?
That expiring contract.
For what?
To have that much more money, like we just discussed. The THJ money is coming off the books. His money will come off the books, and we could drop Paul Reed whenever we wanted to. You know what I mean? And that just creates that's a huge max slot.
I mean, but what contracts are you like? What I don't know.
Nothing.
I think there's just a better way. Yeah, there's just a better way. I think to utilize the assets that you got, that we have, because even without trading for him, you could still create that cap space. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if, oh my God, you really felt the need, now
if Cade got hurt, then we'd be talking different.
I mean, but
we still got Ivy. We still got Ivy. We can throw him back to the Wolves. What's up, Dennis? We see you. Another one of my fantasy trade guys is somebody I actually do like, and people don't like him either.
Okay.
And it's the other Russell, Westbrook. And I actually think that he would kind of fit off the bench somewhat. You know what I mean? Like with the Paul Reed, with the Tim Hardaway, depending on if he starts or not, because he'd have like actual outlets to kick to and active like movement on the floor alongside him. You know what I mean? So I actually think that could work because I know what I seen with the Lakers unit that ran with him and how he controlled pace and damn near control the game a lot of times. I seen him with the Clippers with those units when they're not hoarding the ball away from them. But just with this second unit, considering we don't really have a clear point guard other than Sasser, and maybe he could just be a veteran. I don't know that he's ready to transition to being the veteran that's just giving the education, giving the game down to the next person in line, passing the baton. But I just feel like Russ could be a good fit with just the way he pushes. Especially we've been getting the shooters. Hell, Fred Vincent might have Russ shooting damn 38% line drive 3-pointers. You know what I mean? Like, so
I don't know. Hey, can you teach can you teach an old dog new tricks? I don't know, man.
Yes, because we've seen it happen to Jason Kidd. We've seen it happen to Ray John Rondo.
I mean, if I were to really entertain this idea, like my easy answer would be sure. Why not? He's on a 1-year, $4 million deal. It's nothing, you know. Right. Denver or not? The Clippers are trying to offload him while trying to get something, you know, whether that's, you know, basically draft compensation. They're not looking to take more salary. You could easily do that, you know, and Denver, they need a backup point guard, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's why they're being rumored to be kind of pursuing them, you know, so the Clippers could have the facade that they're doing right by him, you know, but I mean, like, sure, you have the means to completely outbid Denver, but I mean, is it going to move the needle? I mean, I'm thinking like, because you guys are like, okay, right? A lot of fans, again, we talked about this. The fans have thrown out the idea. Well, I think a lot of fans seem to think the pieces are kind of coming into place where you could go star hunting, right?
Yeah.
And obviously,
that's true.
A lot of people have been throwing out the name Brandon Ingram. Because rightfully so, his name has been out there in the media for like the last several months as a potential trade candidate. Right. Obviously, your reaction, you're not really into the idea.
Okay, let me, and this, it's only really one reason why, and that's because,
go for it.
Like I told you before we started, he doesn't have, at least people saying give us Isaiah Stewart for him. No, you know what I mean? Like, no, I'm not giving up Isaiah Stewart for him. And he doesn't have like a dog in him. Like when it's time to like really turn it up and get going, like, you know, have a stoic look on your face and we can look at you and tell that you focused on the game. You know what I mean? Like I want that Brandon Ingram. I mean, he might exist somewhere in there, but I'm not giving up Isaiah Stewart for him because that might be the person to ignite it. You know what I mean? Like that just doesn't make sense. So I wouldn't.
It's going to take more than Isaiah Stewart, though. That's the thing.
I mean, you know? Yeah, it might. Maybe JB Bickerstaff comes in here, but or he, you know, he can play a part in that. But I just don't. I wouldn't want to. I mean, because is he really great to you in transition? Like, is he one of the best in transition? He's more of a half court player.
Yeah, to me, Ingram, I just don't think he's a good fit. Period. Yeah, and frankly, I don't think he's a good fit with a lot of teams. Which is why I don't think he's been traded yet. Like, I want to make it clear, he is a good player.
Yeah,
you know, like I do enjoy watching him, but let's just say here with the Pistons.
Okay.
Like especially when you're a wing, right? And you're paying, basically he already said, right? He's looking for a max contract. So $200+ million, right?
Right.
Ideally, a fellow wing player, you would like that wing to, of course, he's another go-to scoring option, but can he be successful both on and off the ball? Right. At no point in his career has he proven he's capable of being successful, like productive off ball. So what are we doing, right? We're just even taking the ball out of like Cade and Ivy's hand. Well, assuming one of the two is still there, right? I mean, Cade's here. Let's be real. Cade's here, right? If anything, Ivy's going. But that's my point, right?
Yeah.
Their offense becomes. I'm not trying to only blame him, but it's part of why New Orleans offense has become so stagnant, right?
Yeah.
I don't really. I don't like that. I just don't see how he would mesh, you know? But going back to the fans that are kind of interested in him, because again, I understand, right? You don't want to just where you guys are, you don't want to just, turn your nose at, right?
Yeah.
At like talent. But you have there's an opportunity now, especially with this new CBA and teams' concerns about like the apron, the second apron.
Mm-hmm.
You have an opportunity here to actually have like good assets that you could look, at other options.
Right.
And also on top of that, he is a small forward, a point forward.
Yeah.
Right. Right now, realistically, I mean, your best prospects are all
the same
forwards.
Yeah.
Right. Asar, Ron Holland, like we're just going to push them away and force them to play a role that's probably not fitting,
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like it. I don't like it.
Okay. So if you had to make a home run deal, and let's just say whoever you come up with, or like whoever you got in your head that's realistic, that we could make a move for, or that you could see potentially being the disgruntled star coming up,
okay,
this season or even now this offseason, who do you think that is, or that fits with the Pistons? I know that's like I'll put like 3 filters on that question. So.
No. You know how like we left off last episode? We said like, hey, with the current Pistons roster, who would you have as your starting 5?
Yeah.
All right. Everybody seems to be in agreement. Cade is starting.
Yeah.
Point. Yeah. Duren starting at the 5.
Yeah.
For the time being, right? Tobias is a 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then, right, it's usually some kind of combination of Asar, Ron, or Fontecchio at the other forward position.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I guess where I'm going with this is relatively speaking, to me, the weakest position on the Pistons roster is the 2 guard spot.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Because remember what we said, like we're still trying to figure out what is Ivy's best role, right?
Yeah.
Is he more of a 1? Is he more of a 2? He's not really good enough to be a full-time 2. We know Hardaway, like that could be his, but I mean, it's not the ideal because, you lose a lot of like, defensive integrity.
Right.
Same thing with Beasley,
mm-hmm.
So I combine it then. There is that. But then there's where, again, you go into like the contract, if you're reluctant. Yeah. There are definitely advantages. I don't think he is as bad as he's being made out to be in the media. Right. And shit, like if you're actually acquiring assets to take him, right?
Yeah. First round picks, hell yeah.
Yeah. But if I combined with what other like fans are saying is another area that needs to be addressed is they need another like consistent go-to scorer.
Yeah.
Again, Tobias is kind of like a stopgap solution.
That can create. Yeah.
Ivy could maybe eventually get there. Right. But if you want one who's a little bit more polished. So sorry, this is a long-winded. My answer would be Anfernee Simons.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And remember, all season he was being linked to Orlando. They needed, again, same thing. They needed a 2 guard. They needed someone who can actually create their own shot. They needed someone who was like a legitimate threat, not just catch and shoot, but ideally a threat to score, like off the dribble, right? Like from behind the arc. They didn't get that.
Right.
Yeah. But they just chose to go, right? They didn't want to lose. They didn't want to, break up their core in order to get him. So, okay, they went the free agent route. They got KCP. Cool. But that's what I'm saying right now. Like, Portland has no intention of winning.
You don't think
like
so?
They really, let's be real. They don't.
So are they in
they
the
don't.
flags?
That's why you hear, right? Aiton's available. Grant's available.
Yeah.
Simons has long been rumored to be available.
Yeah.
Orlando just took themselves out of the running. Why shouldn't Detroit be a candidate?
Okay, and
because now
you know what his contract is?
I believe he did. Yeah, I think it's like he was like making like what? 20 $5 million a year.
Okay. So with what we've got going on financially,
like flat. He signed a 4-year, $100 million extension.
And we take that on? I mean, that's a value contract.
Yeah.
You know, for what he
That's not even a bad deal.
No, it's not. Because someone the way he plays should get at least 30, 35 at the very least. So I don't know.
Because this is my point. If you're going to start getting rid, and again, they're not just going to give him up. They're not just going to give him away for scraps and pennies. But it's good. Like I said, it would take more than just Stewart. That's my point. If you're actually going to now start considering moving some of your best young guys and your draft picks, then have it be for someone that you believe you can, is a part of this core moving forward.
Right.
Then I do advocate, yes, start thinking bigger. And now, again, just because team priorities shifted, what we thought was, going to be his future trajectory, it's up in the air, and you can capitalize on that. That's what I'm saying. All those other ones, D'Lo, Russ, those are just short-term things, right? Okay,
that was just me in fantasy land. Sorry.
No, but I mean, there's nothing to prevent you from doing that. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's all week I've been thinking about it. It's like, man, Simons, man, he's the guy. He's one of the next guys to go.
Okay, so before we move to the summer league portion, unless you come up with somebody else on top of this, I keep hearing people say either Gary Trent or Luke Kennard for our for the next pickup, and then we can be done for the summer. So what do you make of those two? Do they get in the way of, you know what I mean? Do they prevent somebody? Do they prevent somebody from getting better, stunt their growth? I think Kennard not so much, but what about Gary Trent?
I like Gary Trent. It just, to me, it seems a little bit now redundant with Malik Beasley.
Yeah.
I understand, hey, I mean, I guess if he just he needs to fire his agent, man. No, seriously. The report came out that he was looking for $25 million a year.
Yeah.
He'll be lucky to get $5. Man. And I'm saying I think he's worth more than $5. It's just dude, there's no more money, right? And it's like with the Pistons and even the Hornets, just because you have money doesn't mean you have to spend it. You know what I mean? Okay. So those are the guys I like for the Pistons if, again, they do make some big move, right? If all of a sudden now, Ivy, they say they traded for a Sasser, or not for Anfernee Simons.
Okay.
So it's Ivy and Isaiah Stewart and some other guys in draft picks. They're all on their way to Portland. Now you have a bunch of open roster spots. Okay, fine. Now go sign a Gary Trent. Now go sign Precious Achiuwa. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But until then, it would, again, you're just kind of creating a logjam. I like him, but it's just I don't really see where the playing time would go. If that's just going to create more disgruntled, players, then I'd rather not.
Okay. So since we logjam damn near everywhere except the 2 guard, let's just move on to the summer league. So I'm gonna let you have the floor because I don't know how many of you are returning watchers, and everybody that sees us, but Con is a former scout, and you have the floor, sir.
Have you ever been to a summer league?
Nah. I was almost there when the year COVID hit. I was scheduled to go.
To which one?
Vegas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
You learn a lot from these players when they're not on the floor. Not that I'm just gonna let people kind of in what it was like when I was scouting. I'm not saying I'm eavesdropping. But because players that aren't under contract, if you're an undrafted free agent, or let's say you're a G League player, you don't get paid to play in summer league.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They don't get a salary. The only money that they receive is a daily stipend to go get food. And so that's why I bring it up. And usually, like, once you enter the arena, you can't leave, right? Once you leave, you're done. So what I'm saying is, especially for those players, there's no in and out privileges. Like, they don't have time to like go outside of the arena,
right?
You know, and like go to a restaurant. So what I'm saying is, they're often, you know, in the promenade and whatever, like, you know, the eateries are,
right?
So you hear a lot of conversations.
Okay.
And it's really interesting, especially for those undrafted guys, right? Like, you could tell which ones are very self-aware. They'll like be telling their teammates, like, hey man, like, were you clapping when you weren't in the game? Were you clapping? They know, right? Because it's not just the team you're playing for. There are like hundreds of like actual team scouts, right? From Europe, Asia, you know, whatever, South America.
Really?
Yeah.
Summer league games.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Freaking yeah, like the KBL, the Korean Basketball League, they have like an import draft there, you know, like on the spot, you put your name. Do you want to be in Korea? Because then they have a draft for like non-Korean players, you know?
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I liked seeing that in certain people, right? Like, they are very self-aware and they're very cognizant of like their eyes on them at all times, you know? And it's pretty interesting, you know? And I bring that up because a lot of the guys on the Pistons roster, a lot of them will probably be in the same situation, right? Because let's be real. You say the Pistons earlier, you said the Pistons Summer League roster, this year's roster doesn't look very entertaining. I don't necessarily disagree. But here's the thing, right? It is entertaining because, right, Ron Holland's on it, Bobby Clinton's on it, Marcus Sasser. No, because at the end of the day, realistically, let's just be real. The Summer League team is just slapped together, right? And ideally trying to provide those guys support. They are the stars. They are the featured players. They're going to get, and that's why, like, sometimes you don't get the best, like, undrafted free agents because those guys, they need to find a team where they believe they're going to get an opportunity to play.
Right.
You see? So, you know, sometimes the guys that like come, they're not as highly sought after because they know, like, okay, well, shit, Ron is going to get all the minutes at like the 2 and 3. You know, Bobby's going to be playing all the 4 minutes.
Right.
So, right. But having said that, who do we have? Oh yeah. So off the bat, these are the guys that are basically for sure, in my opinion, going to start all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sasser at the 1.
Yep.
Ron's probably going to be at the 3, right?
Okay.
And Bobby Clinton at the 4. We've talked about them. I think at this point, Pistons fans, you're somewhat familiar with their game. So instead of like breaking down what they do and what they don't do, thought, MJ, how about you and I kind of talk about what we would like to see from the guys that are officially on the roster, right? So I'll start off for Sasser. I'm going to tell you this right now. He's not a point guard, dude. If you put him on a lie detector, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he'll tell you he's not a point guard. He is a shooting guard.
I mean,
in a point guard's body. That's it. The only reason why you call him a point guard is because he's 6'1". He's not.
That's true.
He's not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, this will be interesting that he is going to be well.
Yeah. He's at the point guard. Yeah.
Yeah.
On the roster.
But I don't know about you. For me, I'll say what I want to see in Marcus Sasser is light him up. Light him up. In Summer League, you'll notice, right? Guys that have played like at least 1 year in the league, or the guys that have played in the G League, they will dominate. Yeah. And they should dominate. So Sasser, right? He better bust some ass out there. Like, he has to. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to pigeonhole any one player, but I mean, I'm sorry. I see him as like this microwave scorer off the bench.
Okay.
I would like for him to exceed that, but at the minimum, he has to do that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, go out there, fill it up. Fill it up.
Okay. I mean, I agree with that. I don't see it any other way.
Yeah.
And I always did think that he was undersized, but you can develop point guard skills. You know what I mean? You could develop the ability to facilitate better and stuff.
Yes.
Like that. And I mean, we seen Isaiah Thomas, not Zeke, not old school Pistons.
Yeah.
But Lil IT, you know what I mean? So it's doable. So
yeah.
I mean,
I guess what I'm just trying to say is, like, dude, I don't expect to see him like running like, 10 consecutive pick and rolls with like Duren and Stewart, right? No, he's out there to get buckets,
to score,
right?
Yeah.
And so
and that's what we like that he does. You know what I mean? Like when he starts shooting threes, we're actually looking for him to score. At least last season, that's what we were looking for. We're looking for him to score. So yeah, I agree with that. Go ahead,
obviously
move on to your boy when you're ready.
Ron Holland, baby.
Yeah.
Ron.
Yeah, you sold me on him too.
There you go. I mean, at simplest, again, given that he's like a raw rookie and he's a young rookie, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, like
he just turned 19.
Exactly. Fill up the stat sheet. Right? I think everyone recognizes he's versatile. He can do a little bit of everything, scoring and, maybe scoring at the cup, facilitating, pulling down rebounds. Show that versatility. You don't need to be the leading scorer. I mean, I'm sure you'll have opportunities to. Right. He's going to be getting a lot of touches. Just fill it up.
Okay. Well, I just got to see more of him before I have any, because all I seen was highlights, and that ain't enough.
Right.
And then okay, so your boy Bobby Clinton too. What do you is he gonna be able to like do the same thing pretty much, like fill it up in the summer league?
Yes, but I want him to show the coaching staff. Oh, well, let me finish my thought first.
Okay.
I want him to make it clear to people, because again, I keep getting the question, Conrad, if he was that talented, why was he a second rounder? Right? Why was he not automatically first rounder? I honestly just believe that playing in the NBL, where they played him at the 3, exposed, or just showed that he's not a 3, right? He's not a wing. He's a big, right?
Okay.
He's a power forward. So I want him. I'm glad that they have him slotted in as the starting power forward, right? Yeah. I do not, because you're absolutely right. As it stands right now, he doesn't have the lateral quickness. He doesn't have the footwork necessary to be sliding over and defending guys on the perimeter. But he is a very good weak side defender. He's great reaction times, getting trailing blocks or weak side blocks.
Yeah,
let him be a big. Let him play like a true front court position, right? So show them that because again, that's part into how you want to see him develop. That's not to say that again, he's already shown like he's got a nice developing jumper, but you want him. Why would we not utilize his athleticism and his length inside the paint? So
okay, so let me expand on that.
Yeah, please.
Where do you let's fast forward to the Pistons season. Where is he at in the rotation?
So this is actually an interesting question, or I'm glad you asked that, because you notice that Cade, now there's the official hey, I'm signing my extension. And then you saw the photo and the video of Ron Sr., right? He's signing his contract. There is no video of Bobby signing his contract yet. Right. And what I'm saying is, I believe he's going to be on this roster, but is he going to be on the 15-man roster, or is he going to be on a 2-way contract? What? Why is that funny?
I'm laughing because there's no video, but there's a picture of him in this big old Kanye West and Lil Pump or whoever that was from the video where they was dancing around with the big suits. He had the big old suit on with shout out to Bobby Clinton, man.
he's tall, but he's kind of thin, and I'm not making fun. I'm real thin. That suit kind of it makes him look even thinner. You know what I'm saying? I know what video you're talking about. But
oh man.
So I'm not sure, because I would like to see him already start on the get-go from the 15-man roster. But again, like you said, if they want to maybe pursue a veteran, to have a little bit more, a more experienced player to go to,
more effectiveness,
then maybe, right, it might be wiser, because you could always elevate him to the 15-man roster, in the season. Right. So it might be. That's why I'm saying. So to answer your question, I'm not sure, just because I want to see what they end up doing, because there has not been, as far as I've seen, there has not been confirmation as to where they're gonna to put him. So. But I definitely see him as a 4. And again, he would have been my small ball 5, but with Reed there, I'd rather just go with Paul Reed. Right?
Okay.
So
Paul Reed might actually be in his way.
Definitely.
Or Paul Reed might be exactly what you just mentioned now. They want to get a veteran that comes in there. That's what Paul Reed is. Boom.
Right.
Question answered, or yeah.
Right.
Perspective seen, vision fulfilled. I can't think of the correct terminology for it, but yeah, there. And for the fan base, because I haven't had an opportunity to do any homework on any of these individuals.
Okay,
who else do you recognize that stands out that Pistons fans need to pay attention to? That's on our roster, our summer league roster that you.
So I'll go down the list. I mean, we won't go through all of them, because I right now, other than like the final game where they give like CYO minutes to the guys that barely played.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these guys, they're not going to see any minutes. You know what I'm saying? So, Dennis Jenkins.
Yeah.
All right.
And
he is a point guard out of St. John's. Yeah. So you guys actually already signed him to one of the two-way contracts. Okay. I am familiar with him prior to that because, I'm familiar with a lot of guys, but he actually started out his collegiate career at the University of Pacific. It's not too far from where I live.
Yeah.
Played a year at Iona and then played a year at St. John's.
Yeah.
He's another combo guard. But he's more of a point guard than Marcus Sasser.
Yeah.
Right? Like he actually does have a lot of playmaking and facilitating skills.
Okay.
About 6'4", like 170.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't hate it. For a two-way contract, it's cool. He shows some upside. He's got some nice quickness. He'll definitely be playing. Like I said, if you have an actual NBA contract or two, you're going to get minutes. So he's going to get minutes.
Right.
Other than that, the rest of them have no actual official affiliation with the Pistons.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm just going to highlight a couple guys who I think could eventually get like an Exhibit 10. Do you know what Exhibit 10 is?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So listeners, right. It's like a camp contract, right? Where you do well enough, but you're not going to make the big club. You can get, automatically transition to a two-way deal. And if you don't get the two-way deal, you wanted to go play in the G League, right? You go straight to Motor City. You go to the Cruise. So, the guy who I think will start, if I had to guess, the guy who I think will start at shooting guard for the Summer League team is Aaron Estrada from Alabama. So he's a true rookie. Okay. And I don't know if you guys watched some Alabama basketball. Like the star of the show was Mark Sears, right? Kind of combo guard, in all likelihood, he'll get, I would imagine he'll get drafted next year, but I mean, just, Mark Sears is a microwave scorer. Estrada, even though he's a shooting guard, he technically had more traditional point guard skills. So Sears was like the volume scorer, right?
Yeah.
Estrada played off of him, even though he's a two guard, but he was more of the setup man. Very tough lefty, very tough. And he doesn't shoot the three ball well. He doesn't. And to be fair, he doesn't shoot a lot of them. Makes sense. I don't shoot them well. I'm not going to shoot a lot of them.
Right.
But he can fill it up. He can score. How? I think you'll like him. He threw a series of floaters, runners, running hooks, right? As a guard, right? Yeah. He's like 6'3", 190, maybe, or 6'4", 190, right?
Yeah.
He'll post guys up, right?
Really?
He is very much the old school guard. And again, I understand why he doesn't shoot the three ball well, and you're a guard, and you're 6'4", 6'3", whatever. I get it, right? Like, that's like a death sentence in the draft process.
Yeah. In the NBA, damn near. You can't shoot threes.
One of my peers, and he's a long time like NBA like writer, reporter, like he's older than us, right?
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of wisdom. He always says that like he likes to look at prospects. Like, I understand we live in an era with the three ball, right?
Right.
But like, if there was no 3-point line, like there's just only 2-pointers.
Yeah.
Can that prospect still be special? Can he still stand out?
Right.
Without the three ball? That's how he likes to evaluate players, right?
Yeah.
And so what I'm saying is, if the 3-point line didn't exist, if this was like the 60s,
right,
Estrada absolutely fits.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And again, I know we're in 2024, not 1964.
Yeah.
But
I mean, but if you can't finish, you got the same problem. But honestly,
exactly, and that's the thing,
reverse,
right?
Yeah.
He finds all these creative ways to score, and he's a very, I don't want to say scrappy. I think that's kind of insulting. He's just a very sound defender. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I understand why, and that's why I think I wouldn't be surprised if he could vie for a two-way contract. If not, one of the guys they'll prioritize, like see if they can bring him, to the training camp and then kind of continue developing him with the crews. So I think he's one guy that I would say for fans to keep an eye on, if you're not familiar with this game already. Okay. So, yeah.
Okay. You giving me a reason to go do my homework.
Okay. One guy here I like, Tolu Smith, power forward center, more of a center out of Mississippi State.
Mm-hmm.
I swear to God, I'm not just trying to get fans to like me. I mean this in a good way. His game reminds me of like pre-injury John Lure.
Really? John Lure. Yeah. Hey, and he was here at a time.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Okay. No, like he's they say he's 6'10". He doesn't look 6'10" to me. He's maybe like 6'8", 6'9" generously. Yeah. He's a hustle guy, just kind of like Lure was, in his early days. Probably a little bit more athletic. I don't know. Lure was actually also athletic. Yeah. But, just finds ways to use, like, find like the speed mismatch like Lure used to do. So he finds ways to finish around the rim. Again, that's why I'm not sure how successful that'll like how well that'll translate going up against like, 7-footers and stuff like that. Yeah. But, he's another high energy guy, a hustle guy.
Okay.
Maybe at best he'll be like a poor man's Paul Reed, But
so, no use, basically.
No, I mean just say like, I don't want to put a seat like, like a cap or pigeonhole any of these guys, but like, there are it's definitely understandable because you don't really have centers on this summer league team. So he's going to get an opportunity to play, is what I'm saying.
Well, there's 3 listed.
Well, there's 3, but
but they're not.
No, okay. So that's Tolu Smith. I think.
Yeah, he's undersized.
He seems like the type of guy who has a shot to get in training camp. And if you get a training camp, maybe you can. You know what I'm saying? Like you have an opportunity to show something. Yeah. So, at the bottom of the list, Will Baker. Mm-hmm. He's a legit 7-footer out of LSU. Okay, 7 foot, 250. So he's like a grown man. Okay. Right now, having said that, I described him in my pre-draft analysis. He is a guard trapped in a center's body. I'm not saying he plays soft, but he likes to shoot the rock. Okay. He doesn't really have many. He has like maybe 2 post moves, but just again, good shooter. Shoots 3 ball fairly well for a big, 35.7% from 3. About 3 attempts per game.
It's not bad.
Again, yeah, I mean, he's older. I don't think older necessarily means bad. Like, again, I could see him having, like, I could see the front office having interest in, like, continuing to work with him. Like, again, more of, like, a project, right? Like, at the Crews and everything like that, and maybe compete for a 2-way spot, right? So... yeah, those are the guys I would say have an eye on. Jace Johnson, I know him very well because he used to play for the Santa Cruz Warriors. Yeah. He's a tryhard. Okay. He's a tryhard. Like, honestly, I don't think he's an NBA player. Like, he would be great in Australia, maybe China. Give him a half-court set. Like, I'm not going to try to act like there's a path for an NBA roster spot for him. Like, I don't think so. But, they need bigs. So right. And he's a great team player, so I can understand why they asked him to be a part of the team. So
is he a bad tryhard or a good tryhard?
No, like he gets a lot of rebounds. He'll block some shots. He's just really effing slow, man.
Oh, okay.
He's really fucking slow.
Okay.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, I know people like say, oh no, he can compensate for this. Like, no, no. But again, that doesn't mean like, you suck at basketball. I just think his skill set is better utilized, in a different league. Yeah. And that's not, again, it's not a knock. It's just, so yeah, I mean, there's some other guys, but again, I don't know, and no disrespect to them. I just think, they are just kind of like,
fringe NBA players.
Oh, actually, one guy, I'm surprised he's even on the roster. Jalen Slauson.
Yeah.
He's a small forward, played with the Kings last year. And I believe on one of their two-way guys. Hey, right? That's the thing about two-way guys. You can just recycle them, reshuffle them so many times, even in season. So I'm just surprised that like he's just available. So he actually is someone who I think could potentially crack, either a two-way contract or eventually, make the tail end of the roster at some point in the season. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, with all of that said, and with all of our discussion, is there any more you want to add before we close out today?
All I'll say is, I encourage everyone to, if you have some free time, take a look at the roster, see what interests you. This is just our way of like trying to give you a little preview who, the main guys, Sasser, Holland, Klintman, who they're going to be playing with. Just keep in mind though, that Summer League is very much a time of experimentation, right? Yeah. So like, obviously you don't want to overreact to good thing. Like you don't want to overreact to anything like bad. You don't want to overreact to anything good. Let's keep in mind, right? Like I was there front and center for Kevin Knox's Summer League, right? Where he was like averaging like damn near 30 a game and like everyone was going wild. I'm not even like trying to throw shade at Kevin Knox. All I'm saying is, right, like I was there for like what's his name? Emmanuel Moutier's thing, right? Everybody thought he's like man. Right? So I was also there when Karl Anthony Towns went like 1 of 11 from the field, you know. Yeah. So, what I'm also on top of that, you may see like, especially your true rookies, like there may be times where Ron Holland, or I'm not saying probably Klintman more likely, like he may be doing things that look just dumb.
Right.
Right. No, and it's because it's something that the coaching staff wants him to develop. Like you'll see a bunch of like big sometimes just they keep throwing up a 3 and they're just bricking, and you're asking like, why is he still shooting threes? Because the coaching staff is asking him to shoot threes. They want him to start working on it, see whatever he has to do mechanically. Yeah, right. Yeah. So when they go to training camp, they know what they need to do to work on. So that's what I'm saying. Like you may see your guys doing something that you think is kind of head scratching, right? Yeah. More often than not, there is a purpose for it. So, we'll see.
Okay. Well, you making me have one more question.
Yeah, go for it.
With that being said, with knowing what the coaches will request, so we have these players. We are going to see them in Summer League. The coaching staff is not going to wait all the way to September to actually start working with these players, are they? Or do they work from basically the end of Summer League through that time working on different skills, or is that just up to the players themselves? Because I know you've been behind the scenes, you've been a scout and stuff, so I would think that you've been,
So before we go, I have to talk about that coaching before we end. But let me answer your question first. They're not allowed to, in an official capacity, the coaching staff. The coaching staff is not allowed to work with the players in an official capacity. What they can do, what's up? Yeah. What they can do, stay on truth. What they can do is you're allowed to talk to them though. So you could give them like a list of workouts, but can it be like one-on-one direct? No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No. Before we go, about this Summer League roster, I don't know if you took a peek, right? Who is the head coach of the Summer League roster?
I actually meant to ask you that. No, I didn't see at all.
And this puts a big smile on my face. It's Jarrett Jack.
Oh, nice.
So Jarrett Jack will be staying on. I know, I like that. That's what we were talking about before, right? Like not technically, assistant coaches have their own contracts with the team, irrespective of the head coach. So I'm glad. I feel like Jarrett Jack, had he not been retained, he would have still landed on his feet. Like he would have gotten other coaching offers. Yeah. I'm just happy that they did retain him because I think he's done some really good work with them.
Yeah.
By all accounts, he is another kind of coach on the rise. So I'm glad that he, again, in terms of continuity, getting to continue working with the Pistons young guys. So,
okay. All right.
And also too, just outside of skill.
Yeah.
You talk about dog, Jarrett Jack, let's be real, man. He had a lot of dog in him.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, right? Like those are the types of guys you want. I would want around my players, right? So
okay, I'm gonna throw you something, and this for everybody that watches this, listens to this.
Yeah.
Because we've been having fun with this. Everybody's been having fun with it. But just everybody that watches, list it in the comments. And that is, what do you think the Pistons record will be this season? I'm gonna just say over 30 or under 30. Or let me make it a little steeper. Over 33 or under 33. You got to answer first, Con. This is on you, bro.
Oh,
yeah. Got him.
No, okay. To be fair, MJ and I had this discussion already, and actually, you said it at 34 before.
Yeah, I did, but over 33 is 34.
Okay, so actually,
we'll do 34. No, we'll do 34. Over 34 or under 34. 33 is kind of like it's like tough. It makes it tougher, I'm sure. Uh-oh.
Give me a second.
You thinking about it? He's thinking about it.
Is it over 33 or 34?
See why I said 33? That's why I said 33. 33. Yeah, because that seems more
over.
34.
Over. Yeah.
Over?
Because
he's on board.
No, I told you. I think I really believe. Like again, we can go through it. Brooklyn, they will. Okay, there are a couple teams, especially with like LaMelo's healthy now. They're gonna want to kind of like be competitive to start the season, but then they're gonna find creative ways to like start, pulling back and getting them, keeping themselves in the Cooper Flag sweepstakes, right? Teams like Brooklyn. Right. Who else? Washington. Right. They're from the get-go. They're going to be in the sweepstakes.
Yeah.
Right. That's already two teams right there. Right. Yeah. I don't think Chicago, they'll win a couple games, but they don't want to be good. Right. And plus their pick is protected. So they need to lose games in order to keep it. Right.
Yeah.
What? Charlotte is probably going to, take the foot off the gas. What I'm saying is, dude, you just basically got to beat one team to be the 10th seed. To be in the play-in, right?
Right.
I don't even know if Toronto wants to be good or not. I think they kind of do. I like their players. Maybe we'll have a Toronto episode at some point. I'm just saying, 34 could get you the 10th seed. You know what I'm saying?
And still a lottery spot, potentially. And
where's the faith, Truth? Where's the faith, man? No, okay.
Under 33, damn.
So I'm going to explain it because I understand your record is what your record is.
Yeah.
But like you just said, how many people suited up for the Pistons last year? 31?
31.
Is that what you said?
Yes.
31?
Well,
right?
Hold
on. And goddamn near
not suited up, but that were on the roster though. That some of them came in and we did that salary dump thing where they came in and cut them. But we had 31
I would
players.
assume almost 2/3 of them are not going to be on the roster next year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What the hell? I don't give a crap. Oh, wait, UI's won 14 games. Right. But in my mind, you could say I'm being optimistic. Is it really reflective of a team that was only capable of winning 14 games? Because what do I care about the end of the season when Chimezie Metu, right, was trying to get a lob from Jared Rhoden? What the hell is that? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's my point. So if you believe, let's again, knock on wood, good health from the young core, and I think you saw it already, MJ. I think you might have even forwarded it to me, right? You see the number of games played from the new additions. You know, like the veteran, right? Like Hardaway, right? They've all played like 70 plus games or 75 plus games in the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Right. To me, that gives me more reason to believe that like they're gonna knock that win total out. Right. Like it's like you said, yes, you wash that away. It's nothing, but to me, it's really nothing. Like it means absolutely nothing to me.
Yeah. I think we brought in too many vets to get anywhere close to 14. We're getting 28 games. I damn near believe easy, because we play Charlotte 4 times. We play Washington 4 times. That's 8. Not saying we'll win them all. We play Brooklyn 4 times. That's 12 games. We play Chicago 4 times. That's 4 more games. What's another sucky team? Who's on the West that's trash? Nobody. Damn near.
I don't know. You know, like I don't think the Spurs, like, even if they try to be bad, I don't think they can be bad. Yeah, like
suck.
That's what I'm saying. Like, dude,
Chris Paul raises floors. What's up, Holder? But no.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, the Blazers, which is again going back. Like I said, dude, I don't know. I'm going to convince you. I'm going to convince all of you. Right? I believe Anfernee Simons is the guy for this team. Like, it just makes so much sense. It guarantees the Blazers will be a bottom 3 team. They like that. They get some other crap, you know. And you guys got a legitimate 2 guard, like a legitimate, like playmaking 2 guard.
And then we're good from there. What will we need from there, really?
No, I'm saying you get Simons, then I'm saying this is a
playoff team.
Add like another 10 wins. So I said 34. Add like 44 win team.
Off Simons alone?
Think about how everything starts to connect now. Think about how many less minutes, right, Ron Holland is playing at the 2. You don't want him to be primarily a catch and shoot guy. He'll have to be to make certain lineups work. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's going to start putting everyone in the right place. I like that. I'm not saying he's like some savior. I'm just saying like the cumulative effect, right? Like the cumulative effect of now, like, you know, and again, right? So what we said, a true playmaker off of Cade, you know, because you don't want it to be heliocentric.
Yeah, and fit is everything. So yeah, that makes perfect sense. Okay, well, Truth Holder, we holla at y'all. Thank y'all for joining. If anything happens with the Pistons, we will have another live for sure. And we're gonna also follow some of the summer league games too. I think we intend to follow them all up.
Yeah, I think your first game is on Saturday, I believe, against Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll have a little preview from there. You know, talk about Philadelphia's roster too, because theirs is actually pretty fun. You know, no offense to ours, but you know, like they got like a lot of young guys on their team. Yeah. But yeah, I think so. Thanks everyone for coming back and joining us. If you haven't already,
subscribe,
like and subscribe, and please feel free to share, you know, with your friends. You guys are, even if you're not Pistons fans, you're just fans of you know, action around the league. Come join us. Come join us, man. Let's have a fun discussion and everything.
And I'm gonna throw this out there too. Make sure y'all follow us on Twitter too. You see the names at CP3_777, at opinionated_MJ. I'm also head of the Pistons Lead account, so like stuff that's gonna be going on with the Pistons, you'll see it from me and Con. But that account is at Pistons Lead on Twitter. And I'm thinking too, because like Truth Tellers in here, Holders in here, and a lot of y'all were talking to us last video. I'm not sure if the Pistons games will be on League Pass, but we could actually get on playback and bring everybody up and all have a discussion while we watch the game, like as a family. You know what I mean? So we'll look into that, but just make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Do that for us, and we will see you guys next time. Peace out.
Take care.